Got summer on the inside, coming live from the 95. I'm out here by the beach, recording in by lawn. The water has left the building, but your boy Marky Saint is in his own mind right now. And because I've been in my own mind, I'll be able to do a 420 eat episode here with you. Here's the 420, and soon the eat will come. And this morning motivation, we're going to talk about some days just ain't your days. Some days are filled with losses, and it's not always up days, but there will be lost days. And unfortunately, those days we're going to have to talk about today. I don't have the same boom, baby, boom that I usually have because I've had a loss. And I'm going to talk a loss like a boss. Let's go, Saints Addiction. Who else in their life hasn't ever had a loss? Who else hasn't ever had something go wrong where they wanted to go right and you almost had it and then you lose it? And so much of it goes to say what should be lost or what should be gained, what should be yours and what isn't. You know, I think a lot of us want everything to go right for us all the time, but I think it's in these losses that I learn the most about myself as I sit here with myself, by myself, whew, talking to myself. I have learned a lot about myself. I started to see patterns in me, patterns I didn't see before, patterns I didn't see of like the women I dated, the way I respond when something's emotional, the way I just light up just talking about it, the way I put tobacco to get that high, really high, and get out of my mind. And there's not much where you can run from when you really have to answer a few questions. And the tough questions is the subtle questions. They're almost subconscious questions that you never really thought you would be asking yourself. Like, why am I dating this person? Why is this happening to me in my life? And why do I respond the way that I do? I'm upset about a violent response today. It's not my way. They got it out of me. And it's like the second conflict I've had in 2 weeks. One a week is too much for me, let alone one a month, let alone one a year. Shouldn't be putting my hands on people, and people shouldn't be putting their hands on me. If ever we are degree, fuck you, here's to me. I'm going to separate myself. I did a good job the first time. Second time came around, not such a good job. And I'm grading myself. I'm grading myself for the style of women that I go after. I grade myself on why am I repeating my patterns. I'm grading myself on how strong I've been mentally and being able to deflect depression and stay on my discipline. You know, that was something that I'm really grateful for. If I hadn't had some sort of self-discipline, I'd be so lost right now. I told people it's like I got hit by a car, literally. And you get so spun in your head, you get spun around, the car gets hit with so much force and momentum, it literally spins you around. And that's literally what just happened to me. And I can't believe the decisions that I made. I can't believe the reaction that came out of me. And I got to ask myself, why do I react that way? It was like listening to this guy that, shout out to Audrey, Mrs. Fox, for showing me the way. She told me to start following this guy. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him before, but Jefferson Fisher. I subscribe to him. You should too. He talks to you about how to combat some of these things, how to handle insults, how most difficult people to cross-examine, how to address the elephant in the room, how to be less emotionally reactive.
How to be less emotionally reactive. Number one, have something to learn, not something to prove. Imagine calling a friend and giving them directions to your house. You can't lead them to where you are without first understanding where they're coming from. In the same way, care more about finding the right question than you do about finding the right answer. Number two, stop the overreactions. You can do that by speaking in present tense with the phrase, I can feel. So for example, when I hear you say that, I can feel myself getting defensive. I can feel myself getting worked up. When you say it out loud, you control the reaction rather than letting that reaction.
I can feel myself get worked up, but I walked away. I was proud of myself.
Teaches you. That means you have to get really
but I still have
comfortable with the
triggers.
question. What does that say about me? It's real easy to think when somebody does something or
Why
says
is
something
it
you don't
when
like,
women argue
what it
with
says
me,
about them.
I get
But what
violent?
does it say about you? Yes, people will push your buttons, but why is there a button there in the first place?
Why
When
is
you
there
take the
a
time to
button
answer that
in the
question,
first
you'll be
place?
less emotionally reactive. So try that. Follow me.
Bro, why? It's dead on the nails, bro. Why is there a button at all? How come I'm always hot pressed to be in conflicts with females? Try to be cap to fix a hoe, cap to save a hoe. Trying to date my mom. Trying to be more sensitive. It's all like beyond me. I'm not like built that way. I'm not built for unpracticalities. I think I try to find possibilities that reframe in my mind where I can see it working for me. I think we all digest things. We kind of chew on them in our minds, digest them, and say, okay, this will work for me. And that's what it has to do. It has to work for you. And unfortunately, right now, life is not working for me. It's working against me, or maybe I'm working against myself and my own self-sabotage. Maybe it's still my temper. Maybe it's my temperament. Maybe it's my lack of patience. Maybe it's my lack of understanding. Maybe it's my lack of partner. But, you know, without pointing the finger, I was saying the other day, Chinese people were saying some proverb that those that don't know blame, those that are aware take blame, something like that. Someone points blame, someone takes blame, and someone doesn't blame at all. And then you've arrived. And that's what I'm really talking about, arriving spiritually and mentally, where you can't be rocked, where you have learned the difference between aggression and assertion. When you're being assertive to someone, you're saying, listen, if you're going to continue this route, right, I am going to leave. And you can argue by yourself. Are you okay with that? And that was another one that he gave me.
What to say when someone's condescending? Number one, call it out. We do that by using words of intent. How to handle bad, how to deliver, how to increase your emotional intelligence. Conversational values. These are promises that you make to yourself in every communication that you have that act to make decisions for you. And as an example, I will share with you mine. Number one, where there is room for kindness, I will use it. It doesn't matter what the other person. How to shut down a toxic conversation. Number one, use the phrase right here. If you're arguing and it's getting toxic and louder and messier, you can put a stop to it and grab their attention with the phrase right here. What you're saying is this, right here at the moment, that I don't do this anymore. I'm off the merry-go-round. If you want to talk to me, we're going to talk right here. Number two, follow it up with the phrase, are you interested? Are you interested in a solution? Are you interested in being in this relationship?
Thank you so much.
Are you interested? What you're doing is gauging, is there a potential for this or not? If not, let me know now. And number three, if they say yes, then you will downshift to a new conversation with the phrase, then tell me where yours begins. You have a solution? Great. Where does it start? You tell me yours, I'll tell you mine, and we'll find each other. But if they say no, then you have your answer. And that's how to shut down a toxic conversation. So try that and follow me. How to handle?
Man, being called toxic by a toxic person is a motherfucker. Being called a manipulator by a manipulated person is a motherfucker. Having to be someone else's emotional stability is a motherfucker. I'm not built for this shit. Shout out to everybody for 420 and Eat. We're out here in Thailand sipping shakes, oceanside, and I'm bitching. Why is my life bitching? Why is my days going bad? And how do I flip it? Because that's all it is for me, Saints addiction, bro. I just literally was like, I have good days, I have bad days, but it's my day to make every day count. And I'm making them count. I'm sitting here trying to learn from myself, beat myself to the punch. Let's see what time this is. Is it 3 o'clock yet? Can I stop fasting? It's 2:35. Maybe I'll wait till after this show. Beat myself to the punch, bro. Find out why I even have a button at all. What are my triggers? Why am I triggered at all? Why am I so defensive when women are yelling at me? Why am I so physical when they get physical with me? And how do I stop falling in love with the wrong people and letting these kind of people and my own self be manipulative or manipulated by people? It's something that I had to learn. I have to learn while I'm trying to save my mom all the time. Why am I dating women that remind me of my mother, where mediocre is never enough, and she's a narcissist, and she's always going to be a powerful force in my life? And to try to duplicate and replicate our mothers with the Oedipus complex, I was so shocked, especially knowing about Freudian and how we were all trying to date our mom or our dad. What the fuck? He was so right. And you want them to emulate these characters. Like, I want a grown woman that could start a family and hold down 4 children with a good mental health and beautiful kids, just like my family. But I can't recreate it. It's a little beyond me. And there's some things that I've seen that are beyond me. I talk about limitless beliefs, talk about negative self beliefs, I talk about take a loss like a boss, talk about my failures, talk about my spitting, talk about my farting, talk about my temper, call myself out on my shit, man. The boys saying fucked up today and some fucked up news, and I just didn't know how to handle it. And came out all sideways, and I regret and thought I did better. Thought that I was a master at walking away, and then I would never be in another argument another day. I wish to say that nobody's hands were put on each other, but there were. I didn't strike anybody with a closed fist or slap anybody, but it wasn't fun restraining somebody. It's never fun being in a fight with somebody. Fucking 2 weeks in a row, bro. What the fuck is happening? Can somebody please explain to me what is happening to my life and my reactions? And I'm supposed to be going to Kuala Lumpur tomorrow. I'm supposed to be going to Bangkok tomorrow. I will be going to Bangkok tomorrow, and I will be going to Kuala Lumpur tomorrow. And I'll be safe, away from drama. Time to breathe, time to get some relaxation, and it's time to get ready for Songkran. It's a water festival here in Thailand. Everybody's got water guns. I ordered a water gun. Something to smile about, little things. I usually miss Songkran, so I can't wait because usually I'm missing it. So this is nice that I won't be missing a Songkran. I'll be there right before my birthday, April 21st. 13th through 15th Songkran, and then April 21st will be my birthday. I'll be so happy to be there. So happy to be back, so happy to be safe, so happy to have more days, so happy to be in paradise, so happy to be able to stay longer and have enough money to sustain myself and find happiness and find out some real answers I need to ask about myself, like why do I want a family so bad? Why do I keep dating women that are like my mother? What's wrong with me? And these questions might need a psychologist. I was really emotional earlier today when I went live, but it's going to happen eventually. All of us are going to have to come to Jesus. All of us fart. I think all of us spit, but who knows? Some people keep it in. We're all different. And the amount of intensity that life brings us, the amount of intensity that we all have for being in this world, trying to make our world better for everyone and hopefully everybody better in it. And then we know people that are tortured and they're not making it. And I thought I was being helpful, but it turned out I wasn't. And it exploded in my face, and it was so close, yet so far away. And it's always been that way. And my friends had to let me know that that's not love, Mark. That's not love. That's not what love looks like. That's not how people treat people they love. And for sure, you've helped me make a decision to stay away and to stay clear and to move as far away from that kind of energy as possible. And it's unfortunate because I wanted to bind with that energy. I really thought I was in love. You got to see that in my mind. I thought this was the perfect person for me. They were saying all the right things, and I was saying all the right things. And it felt so good to finally meet someone. I felt that I'm my special someone. And unfortunately, I blew the candles off the cake. I'm not as special as I like to think that I am. And I don't have the luck of a saint. I'm not blessed as much as I thought that I was. I take my bad days and my lumps and even have to repeat some of my lessons. It seems like the universe doesn't know any bounds or tricks. It might send you the same lesson twice, and you might have to learn it twice. And today's the day that I had to learn it twice. It's 2 times from Aquarius. Two losses in the same day, and I'm just having a tough fucking time with it. I'm having a tough time with it, with my, I almost wanted to throw up earlier with my reaction. I should have been more sensitive. Try to be more patient. I counted out once. I was going to run twice. I was going to run 3 times. Bit my lip. Had to apologize 3 different times. Had to bite my lip, walk back into the fire and see if I can endure it a little bit longer. See if I can be brave a little bit longer, more patient a little bit longer. But I didn't. I fucked it up. Converted to the dark side, and that's why I'm having this conversation today, because we all have a dark side. And that's what I was learning from Robert Greene, and really pulled on me about narcissism and two faces and how we all are actors in this life, that we're all trying to be something that we're not, or confused by things. And this is us telling the truth on ourselves, right? This is all of us together, the collective. We're all doing these things, and this video was so true. Robert Greene's my motherfucking man. He's so smart. 48 Laws of Power, and condensed into seduction, and how we seduce each other, and how we do all these other things. So,
one of the early Chevrolet engineers.
So, children, we all circumstances where revealing everything that about what you're planning to do is actually very counterproductive.
And probably it seems that way because I'm the one asking the question.
yes,
As if
bro.
I'm questioning society. That
Thank
I'm
you,
part of.
bro. This looks
You don't
good.
need
They'll think
ketchup.
No
they
ketchup,
don't
no
play
thank
these
you.
Because
right, they
they
might.
put
Yeah, that's the
inside
question I have. Is
something
like,
already.
have you ever
Okay.
encountered anybody? Do you believe there's anybody out there that doesn't play power games, manipulation, have shadows, have darkness in them?
No worries, bro.
No, I
Are you?
But
You want
so
chopstick?
in my war book,
Sure, I'll take a chopstick. You love mine.
I read the biography
Thank you,
of
brother.
Mahatma Gandhi,
Okay.
one of the
Thank you,
saintliest
thank you.
figures
Yep.
in history.
Guys,
Right?
Thank you, bro. You're awesome.
I'm just saying,
420 neat. Birdie's boat. Then I tried to get some bimbi pop, but I thought it was a stir fry. But they have these little toasty snacks. They're hot, little cheese and a little salami inside. These are really good. They're only 100 baht. That's $3. Can't believe I got kimchi again. Haven't had that since prison. And this is a wonderful, lovely tuna roll for all my sushi sluts out there. We're all super steady. We're all part of it. We're all part of the plan, and this is amazing. So here it is, your boy Marquis Saint, eating healthy once again in Thailand with the view. 420 and eat. I don't normally eat with the pineapple shake, joint pineapple shake, kimchi, tuna roll. Let's try to look at it real quick. With the sesame seeds on top, little tuna roll, sushi sluts sushi sluts underscore. And of course, let's get a toasty. It's almost time for my fast to end. I wait till 3. It's 2:43. How the hell do I answer? Okay, got it. Just trying to hook up a friend with a place to stay in Finland. They're both from Finland, but they're all in Spain. It's so cool to have friends worldwide, right? Dear life, I can't thank you enough for everything that you provided me in my life, that I even had a chance to learn lessons, that I can even be on an island, that I can even have time to reflect. I am so grateful to have this time in my life. I'm so grateful to have the time to process and see what I really want out of my life, and see how I can correct my mistakes and fix these buttons. Please help me fix these buttons. Amen. So I wish I was as pious as I pretend to be, but it turns out that I'm a sinner too. Mostly saints, perfectly imperfect. I shouldn't complain before a beautiful shake. I can be grateful for everything. Every day that's out of jail and free and near the water, and playing frisbee and talking to people and meeting people and just doing whatever I desire. Trying to keep these good times rolling. I don't know if you can see the ham in it, but my hands are shaking. I still have the adrenaline go through me. It's a bit of a dream for me. A new reality that I'm not as kind as I pretend to be. There's still some anger and violence in me. And Unfortunately, especially when things get chaotic, I want to try to control things. Out of my control, man. Out of my fucking control. Let's go, Robert Greene.
Be aware. Don't just act in this world. Be aware. Have a strategic mindset. Sometimes concealing is what you need to do. Sometimes not concealing is what you need to do.
It's funny when we have this conversation about power and the darkness and the shadows that people have in them. I think a lot of people listening, and probably it seems that way because I'm the one asking the questions, as if I'm questioning society that I'm not part of. They'll think they might think they don't play these games, right? They might, so that's the question I have is like, have you ever encountered anybody? Do you believe there's anybody out there that doesn't play power games, manipulation, have shadows, have darkness in them?
No, I don't. But so in my war book, I've read the biography of Mahatma Gandhi, one of the saintliest figures in history, right? And I realized that Mahatma Gandhi's private life that wasn't exactly in the same as his public life. I don't judge him for that because he was a brilliant man and I admire him. I love him deeply. Reading his biography made me even admire him even more, seeing that he had a human flawed side to him. But these are icons that we set up and they reveal what I'm talking about in human nature. You can't escape it. But yeah, maybe there was some saint born in some century that I've never heard of that maybe got pretty far away from everything I've talked about. But, you know, we all have this idea, like in The Laws of Human Nature, I write about irrationality, envy, aggression, or narcissism. Narcissism is a good one. Oh, they're a narcissist. I'm not a narcissist. I'm not self-absorbed, but they are. Yeah. I don't have any of those traits. Well, damn it. Every single human being has self-absorption traits. We can't help it. We naturally think of ourselves first. Yes, there are people who are much deeper narcissists in life, no doubt, and there are toxic narcissists, but we all have a touch of it. I want you to be a little more humble in this world and not be so arrogant and not think that you are somehow exempt from having a dark side, that somehow you were born with a halo over your head, that you were born different, you don't have human nature, that you're a saintly person, you're much better. Get rid of your moral superiority because I find that deeply offensive. We are all cut from the same cloth. We all have the same flaws. And when you look at yourself, and when I wrote The Laws of Human Nature, I'm going, damn it, Robert, you have a dark side. You're a narcissist. I had to come to terms with my irrationality, my grandiosity, my aggressive instincts. But it's the only way to change yourself is to be aware that you have these issues. I have the narcissistic tendencies. Now I see it. All right. Now when they pop up, I can control it better. I can say, damn, Robert, you're being too self-absorbed to think more about the other person. But if you go around in life thinking, I don't have any of these problems, I'm not a narcissist, you're never going to have the awareness to stop the fact that you are actually one.
Being a narcissist, is that objectively a good or a bad thing? Because when you was obviously, I know people are having it's a bad thing. As a narcissist cause a lot of harm, and that's very true. But in the context of the human animal and why the human animal develops certain attributes and qualities to maybe further its survival or its ability to stay within the social pact, is it just a consequence of being a human to have these like shadow traits and to be coercive and manipulative? Is it good or is it bad?
It's neither.
Or is it neither?
It's neither. Because it just is, right? So with narcissism, for instance, there's a reason why we're narcissists. So I explain in the book, it's not my own theory, it comes from some great psychologists like Kohut, the origins of narcissism, right? So when you have to leave you, when your parents have to kind of not abandon you, but have to not give you as much attention as you used to have, and you're 3 years old or 4 years old, you don't remember it, but it was very painful. Like, oh, they don't love me as much. What's wrong with me, right? I have to get that love and attention.
Love and attention. Tuna, omelet, egg omelet, and a little pineapple in the middle. See, she slept. Oh, God. Are you listening to this?
Not just naturally, I have to do things to earn it, etc., etc. And what happens with a lot of people in that situation when you're a child is I have to develop I have to be my own mother or father. I have to find a way of loving myself. When something bad happens, I have to retreat inward and go, I'm really not so bad at all. I'm actually a decent person. I like my own tastes. I like the clothes that I wear, etc., etc. You're developing the shreds of self-esteem, right? And people who never develop that because they were abused or they were abandoned or even if they were suffocated, never develop that self-esteem. And so what happens in life is if you don't develop that and you get older and people attack you and yell at you or criticize you, you can't retreat inward to that self-esteem, that love you have. The only thing you know is to get angry, they call it narcissistic rage, to yell at people and say, God, get away from me, you're evil, etc., 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 right? And then the other problems evolve where the only way I don't have that inner self-esteem, the only way I can get people to love me is by being incredibly dramatic and overly dramatic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and always making myself the center of attention. That's what creates a deep narcissist. That's their only way of getting the love that they need. So children, we all need that degree of self-esteem, that anchor in our life. So narcissism, self-love, is not a bad thing. But what happens is as you get older, if you go too deep into it, it becomes a problem. And so what I say is you need to take that self-love and that has a good function and turn it outward as much you can and turn it into empathy and love and consideration for other people more. That's your task as you get older in life. That's how I approach all of these flaws. You can't run away from them. You can't run away from your shadow, your dark side. You can make it work for you. You can make it positive and productive and healthy. You can become a healthy narcissist, which is a name that I use in the book. You can use your dark side for positive purposes. Let's say you have a lot of anger inside, and I had a lot of anger when I was younger. I was a very angry young man, right? Channel that into some kind of cause. I have a lot of causes that I believe in very deeply. And when I was younger, I was like that. Channel that energy into something productive and helpful and put it into something that goes to something that helps society. That's using your dark side for positive purposes. Because the dark side of human nature has a lot of creativity, has a lot of energy. An artist has to have a dark side. You use your dark side because all those dark emotions, all the people that shat on you in your life, they inspire you. They create your best work. Don't run away from your shadow. Don't run away from your narcissism. Use it in a healthy way.
And acknowledge it. I think that's the hardest thing for people to do, right?
Yeah.
So few people, I think, including myself, have really fully understood what their shadow and their dark side is. I mean, doing this podcast has really helped me because I learn things from other people vicariously, and then I reflect on myself, or keeping a diary has helped me to understand that. But that first step in someone having the self-awareness to understand their dark side. I mean, there's even a lot of people who confronting their dark side it feels like it would be so impactful on their self-esteem, their negative sense, that they spend their life putting up a wall to never go there. I mean, there's some people who you even mention something to them and they would triggers them.
Yeah.
You know, we can all think of those people.
Why am I triggered?
We can all think of those people. The really interesting thing there is the role that your early years play on your relationship with power. Because when I think about some of the nicest, I don't know if this is just a general stereotype or a narrow observation I've had, but some of the nicest people I've met in terms of, being the opposite of whatever a toxic narcissist is, seem to have really comfortable, loving, secure, safe, early experiences. And then is that broadly true in your view?
It's a generalization, but there is some truth to it. I mean, there's things that are called attachment theories where psychologists have looked at the kind of attachment you had to your parents and they categorize it in 4 different ways. And There's the ideal, the best one, where you have this incredibly loving mother and father, and then they're giving you unconditional love, but they know also how to give you your independence, etc. It's not terribly common. I don't know what the percentage would be. Then there's levels and levels, and then as you get to the fourth level, it's like the abandonment one, where, or abusive and abandonment, where you basically leave the child alone. You don't give it any attention, any love, and it's very crippling, right? But the thing is, children are much stronger than we think they are. They're very resilient. They're very resourceful. They're going to find their love. They're going to find a way to compensate for it in some way. And what's something very interesting, when I was doing seduction in some of my other books, and I look at people who were like very charismatic, like a Malcolm X, like a Marilyn Monroe, I could go on and on and on. These are people that came from very, very bad families, right?
That's one.
They had no love. Marilyn Monroe was an orphan, essentially, raised in an orphanage, you know? Her whole life was, I got to get people to love me. I need love so desperately. And her way of doing it was to literally make love with the camera. Nobody ever done that before. You could sense that she needed it, and it was so powerful that you sensed it, that she drew it to herself. Great charismatic individuals. John F. Kennedy is someone who had a lot of charisma. He came from a very bad childhood, right? His father was very mean to him, etc. Some children, in the worst circumstances, it ends up bringing the best out of them. They have to find their way in life. And some people who have everything don't go very far because they don't know how to find things for themselves. So life is weird. Some people who have great childhoods do well. Some people who have great childhoods are spoiled and never learn how to get things on their own. And some people have the shittiest childhoods, learn how to be resourceful and get what they need on their own.
You mentioned seduction there, the art of seduction.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Just their narcissism, how we all have, you know, our own, what's the word I'm looking for? Self-assurance. You want to be self-assured? Alright. No one's going to harm you. No one's going to attack you. No one's going to put hands on you. And you might have your own individual perspective. It's good to be a healthy narcissist, not somebody that doesn't have empathy, but take that energy and start pointing outwards. They always say, I want something, they'll do this, I want something. Then you got to be willing to give it. Hey, I want empathy. I want sympathy. Have you given sympathy? Try giving sympathy to someone else, man. Diverting that energy, that angry energy, into a business, into a future, into a new way of life. You know, some people that waste their whole life on bad juju and energy and melancholy, and I'm on some, how can I channel this? How can I fix this? How can I do better? I can learn from my mistakes and be a better man. And is it possible? And how can I do it? How can I do it? Pineapple shakes help. Oceans help. Birthdays help. Space and opportunity help. So I asked the boys to pause the music for 10 minutes, but now it's been 35. So they're working their asses off. I'm not. I'm sitting here sipping shakes and smoking joints. So let's get some 420 and eat in real quick and let this man get about the business. First we smoke, then we eat. Honest reviews by honest stoners. This is 420 me. This is Thailand. This is Saints Addiction. And I will be a better man. Today, mistakes were made, but lessons were learned. We'll be free. peace, love, and as always, Chigathon means goodbye, but not forever and finish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. Ciao. Belo. Beijos. Good food here. Korea. Kochang 7. Come here. We have really nice food. Amen. And follow 420 on Instagram.